Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing good. We had discussed in my last session the objective of teaching, definition of teaching, and the levels of teaching. The first level of teaching, that is a memory level of teaching, and its Harvard model and its advantages and disadvantages. So today we are going to explain another new topic on teaching aptitude. So that's why this session is known as teaching aptitude part 2. So if you have missed my previous session, so please go and check my description box and my first comment where the previous session link is already shared. So now move on the next slide, where we can see some topic which are discussing today. So first one is level of teaching. So we have already told that thing in the earlier session. We have discussed only the first level of teaching, that is the memory level of teaching, and today we will discuss the understanding level of teaching and the reflective level of teaching, and another concept, that is the Bloom's taxonomy. So now move on the main slide and let's start the session. So here this is the another concept, that is levels of teaching. So we have already told that part. There are three levels of teaching. The first one is memory level of teaching, which is least thoughtful level of teaching. Second one is understanding level of teaching, this is thoughtful level. And last one, that is the reflective level of teaching, and which is one of the most thoughtful level of teaching. So we have already discussed in my last session the memory level of teaching, the Harvard model of memory level of teaching, and disadvantages and advantages. So today we are going to explain the second level of teaching, that is understanding level of teaching. So let's move. So at first, learner, we have to know what do you mean by a understanding level. Basically, understanding level is an extension of the memory level, and it also lays the foundation for reflective level. So it plays a mediator role between the memory level and the reflective level. So the memory level of teaching basically focused only on the rote memorization of the concepts, while at the understanding level, emphasis is on the mastery of the subjects by developing understanding and insights, and that's why it is concerned with the perceive the meaning, grasp the idea, and the comprehend the meaning also. So I think what is the actual concept of this understanding level of teaching, this is clear to everyone. So now move on the next one, that is the proponent. So the main proponent of the understanding level of teaching is Morrison. And so now move on the another concept of understanding level of teaching. This is different phases of understanding level. So here we can see there are four phases. The first one is knowing, the second one is using, third one is expounding, and fourth one is surpassing. After the memory level of teaching, students can perceive the meaning and grasp the idea. So that's why it implies students know the concept clearly and their meaning also. So now they are using it if needed. Okay, so because they have already known the meaning of the topic, now students expound it and surpassing it also. So and they are eligible to apply their concept of meaning in the real life situation. Okay, so I think this is clear, the different phases of understanding level. So now move on the next. So here this is the objective of the understanding level. And what is the objective of the understanding level? So promotion of scope for seeking relationship among facts and ideas, because at this level learners get to know about the meaning of the concept, generalizations, principles and the theories along with their application. So that's why it helps to seek the relationship among facts and ideas, and uh, it is emphasized uh, on the mastery of the subject by developing understanding and insight. So now move on the next. So here we can see the Bloom's taxonomy, but we are going to explain Bloom's taxonomy here in a very short note. Bloom's taxonomy, these so now move on the next concept. So here we can see the Bloom's taxonomy. So we are going to explain this portion, this concept in a very short note, and only the first domain basically. Okay. So Bloom's taxonomy, in the Bloom's taxonomy, there are three domains. Cognitive domain, psychomotor domain and affective domain. In 1956, under the leadership of Dr. Benjamin Bloom, uh, a new vision for teaching, which is known as the Bloom's taxonomy, was developed, which focused on understanding, analyzing, and evaluating concepts, principles, and procedure. And we have already told that part. There are three domains of learning: cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affective domain. So cognitive domain basically focuses on the knowledge, and psychomotor and affective domain focuses on the skills and attitude of the students respectively. But cognitive domain is basically related to the understanding level of teaching, because cognitive domain focuses on the knowledge of the students. So that's why we will discuss only the first domain of the Bloom's taxonomy, and it is arranged from there. And here we can see there are 6 subcategories, and which is arranged from simple to complex, or the lower order to higher order. So knowledge, comprehension, and application involves the lower order thinking skills, and analysis, synthesis and evaluation involves the higher order thinking skills. So now move on the first category, that is the knowledge. So obviously we all know that knowledge, ideas, instructions transfers from the students to from the teacher to students. So that's why knowledge is one of the most important category of the Bloom's taxonomy. And the second category, that is the comprehension. At this level we have already told, uh, understanding level of teaching is concerned with the perceive the meaning, grabs the idea, and comprehend the meaning. So that's why comprehension is related to the uh, understanding level. Okay, so now move on the third one, that is the application. So after knowing the meaning of the concept, uh, you can apply it in anywhere, in any situation if you need. So application is the third category of the Bloom's taxonomy. The fourth category of the Bloom's taxonomy, that is the analysis. So analysis is basically the detailed examination of the elements, and it is a process of breaking down a something into its parts to learn what they do and how they relate to one another. So after analysis, uh, we have to go the synthesis category. So that is, synthesis is basically putting putting all the ideas and all the components into together to see an overall pattern, how things come together. Okay, and after synthesis, evaluation is needed. So teacher evaluates their student through different types of test, assessment, questions, etc. So I think this is clear to everyone. So cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy is clear to everyone. So now move on the next slide. So here we can see the revised version of Bloom's taxonomy in 2018, and here there are 6 subcategories also. So first one is remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate and create. All categories are same with the previous Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so now move on the next. Uh, so so I think this is clear to everyone. So now move on the next. So here we can see some advantages and disadvantages of the understanding level of teaching. So at first we have to go with advantages of the understanding level of teaching. Okay, so the first one is effective learning. So obviously students can perceive the meaning and grasp the idea. So obviously the learning procedure is effective. Okay, so now move on the second one. So it helps to develop the different cognition learning, and we have already told that thing. So cognitive domain is basically related to the understanding level of teaching. So obviously it develops the different cognition learning, not the other domain, affective or the psychomotor domain. And now going to the third advantage, it sets stages for entering into the reflective level of teaching, and we have already told that it also lays the foundation of the reflective model. So obviously it sets stages for entering into the reflective level of teaching. And now going to the last one, that is a good interaction level. So obviously student and teachers relationship and students and teacher communication skill and their interaction level is very high in this level of teaching. So now move on the disadvantages. So the first disadvantage is it ignores the higher cognitive abilities, obviously, and it emphasizes on the intrinsic motivation. Okay, not and there is no individual learning, and all methods, all procedures, all things are teacher centered. Okay, because more comprehensive techniques like essay type questions, objective type questions basically used for evaluation at the understanding level, and all things are teacher centered and subject centered, like memory level of teaching. So I think the understanding level of teaching is clear to everyone. So if you have any query, please do comment in my comment section. So now move on the next concept, that is a reflective level of teaching. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a reflective level. So reflective level of teaching basically emphasis are given on the identification of the problem, defining it and finding a solution to it. So it is the highest level of teaching, and it makes use of knowledge and research skills of the learners for solving the real life problems. Okay, so it involves the use of problem centric approach also. Clear? And the main proponent of the reflective level of teaching is Hunt. Okay, and we can see there are different phases of reflective level. The first one is considering, practicing, teaching and self-assessing. Obviously because it is the highest level of teaching and it involves the use of problem centric approach, so that's why self-assessing is the one of the most important phase of the reflective level of teaching. So now move on the next where we can see objectives of the reflective model. So what is the objective of the reflective level of teaching? So it enables basically student to solve the real problems of life. So we have already told that thing, because the reflective level of teaching leads to the development of the creative skills. It involves the use of the problem centric approach, and it makes use of knowledge and research skill of learners for solving the real life problems. And that's why this is the highest level of teaching. Okay, so now move on the next. So here this is the another concept of reflective level of teaching. So now we are going to discuss the Hunt's model of reflective level of teaching. This is a mistake of mine. Okay. uh, like memory level of teaching, uh, in this model there are four stages. The first one is focus, second one is syntax, third one is social system, and fourth one is support system. So now move on the next slide for elaboration, and there is a blank space for elaboration also. So here this is a blank space. The first stage, that is focus. Okay, focus. So in this reflective level of teaching, one of the main important focus, that is, it helps to develop problem solving, critical, constructive, independent thinking. Clear? So this is one of the most important focus for this model. So it helps to develop problem solving thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, constructive thinking, independent thinking, and that portion we have already told earlier. Okay, so now move on the second stage, that is the syntax. Okay, so like memory level of teaching, there are some steps under this syntax. Okay, so the first one is creating the problematic situation. Second one is formulation of hypothesis. Third one is after formulation of the hypothesis, you have to verify. Okay, so third stage or subcategories, that is the verify it. Fourth one is collection of data. Fifth one is testing the hypothesis. Okay, so you have to test the hypothesis which is related to the problematic situation through collected data. Okay, so now move on the third stage, that is the social system. Okay, so we consider only the student and teacher in the society. Okay, so learners or students occupy the primary position and participate actively in learning, while teachers, playing a democratic role, occupy the secondary position. So in the memory level of teaching, we have already told that teacher occupy the primary position, and here learners or students occupy the primary position, and this is the basic differences between social system of the memory level of teaching and the social system of the reflective level of teaching. Okay, so now move on the fourth stage, that is the support system. Okay, so support system involves different types of test, like essay type questions test, and the attitude, evaluation of the attitude, beliefs, involvement in learning and development of the critical and creative skills. So basically test with essay type questions are used for evaluation at this level also. ठीक है? So I think the Hans model of reflective level of teaching is clear to everyone. So like memory level of teaching, there are 4 stages: focus, syntax, social and support system. So in at this level of teaching, students at this level of teaching, it helps to develop the problem solving, critical thinking, constructive thinking, independent thinking, and which is the one of the main focus of this model. And now going to the syntax part. So first step is creating the problematic situation, and now going to the formulation of the hypothesis, and after that verified, after that it is verifying, and now going to the fourth subcategory, that is the collection of data. And after collection of data, you have to test the hypothesis for this problematic situation. Okay, and now the the third and fourth stage of the Hunt's model of reflective level of teaching, that is the social system and the support system. So primary place occupied, the students basically occupy the primary position, and teachers occupy the secondary position in this level of teaching. And essay type examinations used basically in this level. So and there is a evaluation, or evaluation of the attitude, beliefs, involvement in learning and development of the critical and creative skills also. So I think this is clear. So now move on the next. So here we can see some advantages and disadvantages of the reflective level of teaching. So first advantage is it is the thoughtful mode of operation, and we have already that thing earlier. So now going to the second one. So techniques are used learner centered. So all techniques which are used in the reflective level of teaching, so all are learner centered, because learners, students occupy the primary position and participate actively in learning. And now going to the third one, there is a development of the problem solving and creativity skills, and this is the main focus of this level of teaching. And now move on the fourth one, that is a maximum flexibility, obviously, because students participate actively in learning. And now last one, that is the self motivation. So obviously self motivation is one of the most important qualities for creating, for development, for creating the problem solving thinking, creativity thinking, independent thinking also. So now move on the some disadvantages of the reflective level of teaching. And obviously it is not suitable for the lower classes, because students of the lower classes don't have any problem solving creativity skills, okay, in their mind. So now move on the second one, that is the burden on the teachers, obviously, and it is very time consuming process, and it is not applicable for the dull students, because dull students don't have independent skills, creativity, constructive problem solving skills. Okay, so that's why it is not applicable for the dull students. So I think this is clear to everyone. So we are done for the today's session. I will come again with some new concepts. Till then, stay tuned. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Press the bell button, please, for getting new notification immediately. If you like my session, then do share it with your friends and near ones. Happy learning. Thank you.